Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Iwi episode number 4. This is Jonathan, and I'm here with George.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up? So, how was the week?
Not too bad, not too bad. Can't argue. Restrictions are lifted. Everyone's outside having a good time, enjoying the sun. Happens to be cloudy today, but summer started, so everyone's excited to get out, have some fun, and looking forward to what the rest of the year brings. How's
Nice.
your week?
Yeah, yeah. About the same. Enjoying a little bit of outside last weekend. Was able to hit the beach and for a little bit, one day for a couple of hours. Mostly just walking and cruising, not necessarily going into the ocean. But it was nice to be able to, just be outside. Also, was able to catch quite a bit of the games, specifically talking about the soccer games, Euro, and some of the Copa America. It's nice that I can, tell you this and you actually know what I'm talking about, unlike Leo
Yeah.
last week, which I had to explain what even Euro Cup was.
All
Uh,
right.
but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, it was chill.
Yeah, Leo happens to be out, partying. He couldn't make it this episode, but hey, Leo, we hope you're having a good time at Los Cabos. Enjoying yourself. No
You.
mask on. I don't know what else you don't have on, but we don't need to know.
We'll save that material for the next episode.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I am enjoying all the soccer that's going on. Everything that's been held back because of the pandemic is
Mhm.
finally, it's happening this summer.
Yeah, it does feel like it's going back to normal, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
just the fact that you have fans at the stadium, it just makes it feel like soccer again.
Oh yeah, that's a big difference. I was tired of hearing the fake chants on
Oh
TV.
yeah,
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 there'd be like a delayed play whenever someone would kick the ball at the goal, and then like 2 seconds of silence, and then oh.
right, yeah. And then another thing that I noticed with um, fans not being able to go into the stadiums, at least this was my perspective or my feeling was that it almost didn't feel real. It didn't feel like they were legit matches. I remember watching last year's Champions League final, PSG versus Bayern Munich,
Yeah.
and of course this was, there were no fans at the stadium, and it almost felt like it was just an exhibition match. It didn't feel like a Champions League final, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. And this is probably one of the biggest, club sports games in the world. It goes down. The best teams in Europe play each other for this top spot.
Right.
And the winner gets decided in this final.
Yeah,
It's
it's
supposed
a
to
it's
be
a it's
like
a big deal. Yeah.
it's a huge deal, and for there to be no fans, and then you're watching it on TV, and it kind of looks like they're having a kick around, like a practice.
Yeah.
The intensity is not there. The fans' reaction, like the passion, you don't see it. It's just not the same.
I know. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, but I'm so glad everything's getting better in the world, and we're finally seeing that passion back in the stadiums.
Yeah.
It finally feels real again. Talking about Europe, the last couple of games were wild.
I know. Are Yes, you're talking about the Ukraine, Sweden, and crap, I'm blanking
Oh,
out.
you
Can you help
can't
me
blank
out?
out on like the biggest upset of the tournament, France
The
and
Oh yeah,
Switzerland.
that one was right. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
The penalty shootout. Yeah, for sure. That one. Yeah, that was a big upset a couple of days ago for sure.
hmm
That I'm sure that lost a lot of money for a lot of people.
it broke my bracket. That's for sure. I was pissed.
That's
Hey,
right.
but that's soccer. That's the beautiful
Yeah,
game.
that's
You
yeah.
never know who's gonna beat who, and it's really David versus Goliath at that point when you have France, who was supposed to be the favorite of the tournament,
Yeah, I was supposed
to
to
go
take it
all the
all.
way,
Yeah,
and then they get knocked out by a Swiss Army knife.
yeah, that's true. It's true. And they all of the five penalty kicks by scored by Sweden were sublime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mbappe. I don't know.
Oh man. Oh
He never.
man.
Oh, he's young, so
Yeah, he's got years
he's
to
got a
forget
World
that
Cup
mistake.
already. He's like, whatever. I don't even care about this. Well, yeah, that
Oh
definitely
man.
that game was a big upset in the last couple of games in the last couple of days. But yesterday, for sure, the biggest the biggest ones, of course, were that England Germany
Yeah.
and that Sweden Ukraine. Both of those games were pretty crazy. Oh, and I'm forgetting about the Croatia. Who did they play?
Spain.
Like Croatia, Spain. Yeah,
Yeah.
that game was wild.
Oh, I
That
loved watching that. I was working from home and I had, one screen, I had the game, on the other screen I had work. Everyone knows, if you know, you know.
yeah, it's
You
an
definitely got to,
unspoken agreement.
yeah. Whoever knows what I'm talking about, like, you had to do that. You have like
Yeah.
two screens, one for work, one for soccer. Um, but yeah, I could not keep my eyes off the game. And to
And
be
if you
honest,
did, there was a goal scored in
oh,
in that
God.
millisecond that
Yeah.
you took your eyes away from the screen.
At the end of the game, I was like, what do they charge this time to? I got to call it UEFA to be like, hey, you took me away from work with all this dramatic soccer.
Yeah, no kidding. Man.
Oh, man. Hey, it went into extra time, too. I love Spain. I've been to Spain a couple of times, and I've seen the city. I fell in love with the country. So, to me, seeing Spain, like, fall and then come back and then score last-minute goals, to me, it was wild.
Nice. Where is that your second team? I guess because you said you had France going all the way and
Yeah.
taking it.
Yeah.
Is Spain your second team of
I would
choice?
say, France, I think, is on everyone's favorite list to win the tournament. But for me personally, I wanted Spain, to go all the way. They did in past tournaments, but, the connection I built with all the, traveling that I've done in the past, it's, I'd like to see them go all the way.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, and all these tournaments are insane. Every Euro Cup and Champions League and World Cups. All these soccer tournaments are. I personally love them, of course, because I like the game. But I haven't had the fortune to actually go to many games or let alone tournaments. I know you have. And speaking of that, I want to. It feels like a perfect segue to ask you because what was your experience in the World Cup? Because I know you've been to World Cup to the last one. I know you went.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
how was
All my
that?
friends knew.
Russia sounds crazy and exotic, but I want to
It's
hear it from the
probably
horse's
one
mouth.
of the. I mean, it's been kind of like on my bucket list, go to a World Cup game,
Right.
go like experience it once in your life. And a couple of my friends and I decided, why not Russia? It kind of sounds out there, us coming from the United States, like, or having the will to go all the way to across the country or across the world. I'm sorry, but the experience in itself was amazing. The decision kind of came last minute. We were scrambling to look for tickets.
How
and
is that process?
the
Because
way
I've heard it's a bit of a hassle to get World Cup tickets specifically.
Oh yeah, because everyone and their moms want to go to the World Cup, and to support their team, follow their team. But we kind of made that decision later in the stages of, I guess, the ticket phasing that they do, which is, I think, between two different lotteries. You sign up basically for a ticket, and that ticket is literally your chance to buy a World Cup ticket. So out of like a random 10,000 people that enter the first lottery, they'll pick people out of that pot, and then
What?
those people get to pick what games they go to. That's the kind of priority system that they set up for the World Cup tickets.
So let's say you want to go, like you said, it was a group of friends
Yeah.
of yours that decided to go. So all of you, I'm just, how many friends were there? 10, 5, or
Um, 3. It was 3,
So
and then we were meeting other friends in Russia.
so the three of you signed up for the lottery. You know, each one, I'm assuming through email or something,
Mhm.
you sign up. And then what if one of them doesn't, make it in the lottery? That's it. He's just, SOL or
We go to Russia without them.
right? Yeah, or
No. So if you get the chance, like you get your name pulled out of the lottery pick, you can buy the tickets for your friends, for your group.
oh, like what's the limit?
I think it was 8, maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. I was under the impression that if you, let's say your your email gets picked or you get picked, that's it. You can only get one ticket. So that's
Oh.
why. How the hell do like group of friends or whatever you're gonna go with your family?
Yeah.
You know, like how do you do it? But I guess that's dumb, right?
Yeah, but
Okay. There's a system.
so there
obviously.
it kind of makes sense too. So there's the first lottery. Obviously, you get your choice of whatever seat in the stadium. There's packages to follow your country,
Mhm.
and then there's individual matches that you can pick from. So if you're lucky enough to get picked in the first round, you have tons of choices. And then there's a phase 2 lottery pick for those who weren't lucky enough to get picked in phase 1.
Okay.
So there's a couple of phases.
And then you just have less choices of
Right.
where you will be in the stadium. And stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think there were 2 phases, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3. So
Like a Coachella. So
Yeah.
like you can't make it a weekend one, you buy ticket for weekend two, or something like that.
and at one point we even decided, hey, if we can't get lucky enough to get in that lottery pick, we're gonna go buy a single ticket match to some random game in the tournament just so we can get to Russia
Just to go.
and then
yeah.
try to get tickets over there to the games that we actually want to go to.
You guys were gonna wing it.
We thought of
Get
every possible
scalpers
way
or
to
something.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
backup plan.
Okay.
And it's funny, what surprised, I mean, I learned about myself through this whole ticketing process where we're thinking of so many ways to try to get to Russia because you need a visa to go there.
Okay.
And the ticket was your visa to get into Russia.
Okay.
So it would have been a crazy process to buy or to fly to Russia.
Was it
without a visa.
literally your ticket, or you had to still go through the process of the visa, but in order to even get it, you had to show that you had the ticket? Or was literally you just show up and say,
literally
hey,
the ticket.
here you go. Like,
Oh,
here's my ticket.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
wow.
it. That was it. Technology. So we signed up for the lottery, and you sign up your email, you get all your friends like riled up. We're good.
Hyped
We're
up.
going
Who-
to
did,
Moscow.
did you get picked, or was a friend of yours that got picked?
No, so here's what happened. We didn't get picked.
Oh.
we didn't get picked. So it was on to option like 2. Option 2 was like, okay, well, let's find a game like that we can buy that probably like it's not gonna be sold out,
Okay.
so that we can like buy our way to that game, get our visa, and then go to the Mexico games that we wanted to, like, outside the stadium, see if anyone was selling tickets.
Okay.
But what ended up happening one night after 2 beers, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 beers, I'm
Maybe
not gonna
6,
lie.
maybe 7.
we got this crazy idea is so you can skip the lottery process if you buy a hospitality VIP ticket.
Okay.
And the hospitality ticket was $800 to go to the game of your choice.
Single game.
To a single game of your choice. Keep in mind, I should have said this earlier, but regular tickets through the lottery process, there was obviously a tier, high level seats were like at $200, and then the middle tier was like 300, 400, like a normal stadium, like that kind of scale. But this option was kind of our last resort because considering that we lost the lottery, there was only a couple of ways we can get into Russia.
Do they tell you, hey, you didn't make it? Or how do you know
Yeah.
If you do get an email that
Yeah.
says, "Hey, you didn't make it." That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Okay, at
Yeah.
least you know.
Yeah, we're not trying to like go into this a little blind, but we looked at the options. We saw this one with that price tag, and you could go to literally any game you wanted. And there was one game in mind that we really wanted to go to.
But by then, all the matches are known.
Yeah.
Everything, every all the all the teams that are going are known. All the matches from the group stage. If you're not familiar with the format of a World Cup, it starts with a group stage of four teams in each group. I believe it's a group. It's 10 groups, so, something along those lines. Just bear with me. If it, just for the sake of conversation, let's say it's 10 groups, four teams. Each group, each team faces each other for one match against each other, and then after that, the top two of each group advance onto the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and eventually the final. So, anyways, so by then, by the time you're getting the tickets, at least all the matches from the group stage. So
Yeah.
you can pick.
Yeah, in a way, in a sense, we knew the first round of the group stage who was playing who, at what date and at what stadium. So we kind of had that in mind, kind of going into the lottery. Actually, we were planning this a little late, but we went with the VIP choice. We signed up for the Mexico-Germany game, which actually turned out to be an amazing game, and that was it. From there, we planned on your regular travel planning, like your flights, your Airbnbs, etc. But that was our ticket into the World Cup.
Got it. Was that the only match you went to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Well, I mean, $800 sounds steep, but considering that it's a World Cup all the way in Russia, and just the fact that I guess it gives you, like you said, the ticket into the really one of the biggest parties that are out there, period. In any sports you name, I haven't been to one, but I know that a World Cup is one of the biggest parties in sports,
Yes.
alongside
Yes.
Olympics,
Mhm.
whatever parties are around, Formula One or anything. A World Cup is insane.
Top. It's world class. It's the culmination of many soccer players' careers. So to see that unfold in whatever country it may fall in for that year, it's something special. So for me at the time, I thought it was 100% worth it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh, and by the way, it's 8 groups of 4 teams, a total
that's
of
right.
32 countries,
Mm-hmm.
just going at it. And if you can think about it, it's 32 countries with their fans, 32 fans from 32 different countries going to a single country and then just partying it up, going wild.
I mean,
So-
I was competing with the fans to get tickets, first of all. So there was a World Cup
Right,
right
there
there
you
just
go.
to get tickets.
Nice. So when so you get to Russia, I'm assuming the airfare pretty straightforward. Just went and bought your airfare ticket to Moscow. Probably flew from LAX or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so you get to Russia. Then what's up? The day you get there how's security like flying into Russia? Like what's going on?
Oh,
Is
man.
there a lot of security? Is it because I always picture Russia as like kind of what you see in the movies. Everyone's so strict. Police everywhere. Super tough like soldiers. At every corner or something like that.
Tall,
Is
serious people.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
stuff like that.
Is it like crazy people driving?
The driving, no, it's actually relaxed. I went to Moscow, one of the the more well known
Mm-hmm.
one of the more well known cities in Russia, And of course that's the capital, and that's what you expect to see in the capital of the biggest country in the world. Um, but my experience was kind of different than that. I mean, keep in mind that you have the rest of the world pretty much in the area, so you're kind of not dealing directly with Russians per se, but you get to
Or with the
see
everyday face of Russia,
everyone.
because they're hosting a party basically.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So it was a huge mix of people, and of course you have security. Right when you land at the airport, there's intense security because of all the people traffic coming through, and everyone's kind of uptight and bunched together. It's probably a really busy time, the busiest time it's ever gonna be in Russia. But no, the security was good. The lines to get through the airport were it was fast. It was good, well organized. Kudos to Russia for putting it a well put together tournament. Really enjoyed the how easy it was to get through the city. It's pretty walkable in my opinion. There's Uber out there. There's different ways to get around. Buses, taxis. My choice was straight
Subway,
Uber, yeah, or walking, honestly. But to get an Airbnb was a struggle, especially for an event so big. It almost and planning it last minute almost.
Okay, right.
That in itself was massively a challenge.
The World Cup was, well, it's during the summer, so specifically when you went, it was June of 2018.
Yes.
How far in advance did you get the tickets, the Airbnb, the airfare, all this stuff?
I'd say maybe February or March. So a couple months before.
So
it was pretty
really
close
last
to
minute.
June, yeah. And we say last minute, we don't mean like the month before. That would have been crazy,
but
almost
even
impossible.
But even a couple months
before it does
minute,
seem no, it definitely was. And finding an Airbnb, let alone like good flights and the whole transportation, all the travel planning, it was challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you find an Airbnb, or did you end up staying at a hostel or something?
So it should be known, and I'll make this clear now. There's a lot of fake Airbnb postings on the website, on the Airbnb, because people know that tons of people are going to the World Cup, and I was actually a victim of that.
No way.
Yeah. So the story was, we found this. We were looking for weeks on Airbnb just to find a place for
every
our
day.
game.
Just checking every day.
Checking, and we finally found a place outside the city with like one bedroom, and it was like a bunk bed.
Okay.
So I was like with 3 friends, we were gonna meet some people over there, but you're like, it's gonna be a couple of days. We're only gonna sleep there. Literally, we're only just using it to sleep and then wake up, shower. We don't need that many beds. We just, if it has a sofa and has a bunk bed, like we'll just make it happen, because at this point there's not anything else that's reasonable, because everything else was so expensive. I think place alone,
how expensive?
That place alone was gonna cost us like $250 a night.
Wow.
So that, I mean, away from the city center, it's just a bunk bed. It's literally like a rundown apartment. It had maybe like 2 or 3 pictures on Airbnb. It was like a new listing too. Zero reviews.
So this is the one that the scam. Okay.
Yeah, this was a scam, and we signed up because we were running out of options.
Desperate.
We didn't know what to do. We're like, this is the best place out of all the places left on Airbnb to rent, because all the hotels were booked. They were either booked or they cost more than $600 a night.
Oh my god!
So that was clearly not an option.
Yeah.
So Airbnb at $250, that was
especially after buying the $800 ticket.
Oh yeah, we had to make up for that. Everything else we can budget. We can share beds, we can share food. I don't care what. We're just gonna make this like as budget friendly as we can, especially after that $800 ticket.
Yeah.
So we get this place, we reserve it, confirmation sent, like we're done, and then on to like buy the flights. But that's a part. So we had actually gone to Paris a couple of days before.
And by the way, just if you remember, because I'm trying to make a mental list, and also for anyone that's listening to this and is interested in having general price tag of how much it costs to go to a World Cup, is airfare ballpark. How much was it? I know it's different, but in your specific case,
I think it would have been affected by the fact that it was a World Cup. It was probably, I'd say, close to 1,000.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, considering that you're going all LAX to freaking Russia.
Well, LAX to Paris to Russia.
Okay,
so that whole kind of like round trip with a Paris in between, that's like $1,000.
Okay, so rounding up $1,000 air. So far we're $1,000 for airfare.
so
and $800 on the ticket.
Yes.
Okay, so $1,800 so far, and we still haven't talked about transportation in the city,
right?
Goodies, food, whatever vodka, whatever you drink there, and then Airbnb. Okay, so
yeah. Sorry, so where I left off is that we finished getting the Airbnb. Like, that's off our list, crossed off. We're good to go there. We have a place to sleep. It didn't matter how nice it was or how many rooms it had. Place to sleep, check. And that was $250 a night, and I think we stayed for 3 nights. So however long you stay, you can do the math. Yeah. But that was done, and then so as I mentioned, we went around Paris. So we thought, oh, we're going to Russia, might as well like take a chance to visit a couple of countries. We're in Paris,
nice,
spending our last days in Paris, and we remind ourselves like, hey, we should check in with the Airbnb host to make sure he knows we're coming and what day we're gonna get there and what time, blah blah blah. So we're on this train, heading somewhere to Paris, and then we message the host, and there's no answer. I think for 2 days there's no answer.
And had you guys texted or messaged the host before, or this was the first time you texted him?
This was the first. No, we had messaged before, but
was he very responsive?
No.
Okay.
There was no response. And then that, I think 2 days before, we tried calling, and when we called the number that's on the Airbnb listing, it said the number had been disconnected.
Oh.
And that's when we were like,
not a good sign.
Oh no. So that was probably the worst feeling to have right before an important like trip.
Yeah.
Like
this was in Paris.
This was in Paris.
When
yeah.
you
so
tried
it
calling,
was
it
literally
said
like 2 days.
You guys were chilling, Champs-Élysées, drinking some beers, and then boom, your hearts sank.
Yeah. We were scrambling. We went into like panic mode, thinking of like, oh, well, what are we gonna do now? Our friends, they got their own place, but there's a chance that we can just sleep on the floor.
Like the other group of friends that you guys were meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then my other friend immediately like reported it to Airbnb. Hey, this is a scam, blah, blah, blah. Like, we want our money back. Report this listing, take it off your website. So that was done. And then myself and my other friend, we were just going through Airbnb like crazy, trying to find another listing.
Anything, whatever.
Literally anything.
At
that point,
a 10 by 10 space. Anything.
At that point, even like a tent in a campground.
Right.
We didn't care where or how we were gonna sleep at night, as long as we had a place. And luckily something popped up that hadn't been there before, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment.
Oh wow. Nice.
For between $200, $300, maybe like $300. We didn't care what the price was, but
were you scared that was another scam?
This one looked more reliable. It had 2 reviews.
Okay.
At that point, it's like, okay. Yeah.
The other one had nothing, not even reviews.
It had nothing.
3 pictures, no reviews.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at first you think, okay, like they realize the World Cup's coming, they want to make some money, but like you think they'd be honest people, opening their house to guests. I think if I was in living in Russia and I saw World Cup coming, if I had an extra room, why not? Why not make some money, a couple $100 for the weekend or whatever. But for that to be a scam was, kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, it got us. It probably got whoever else,
Right.
fell for it.
Did you get your money
But
back?
I don't know. It was my friend who reserved it.
Oh,
But
got it.
but
Okay.
I think they did.
Got it. Okay. Well, that was good.
Yeah, yeah. So we finally found a place. We messaged the host
Right
right
away.
away. Right away. We're like, "Are you real?" Like, we just got scammed. Yeah, we just wanted to make sure, we're coming in like 2 days. Where do you want us to
We
meet
just
you?
got scammed. Don't do me wrong. Don't do me dirty, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. We had to check that it was a real listing, and thankfully, the person responded, and they were very nice, and ready to like welcome us to the
Yeah.
World Cup.
Nice.
So that was a little nightmare in itself,
That
but
was awesome.
whenever you travel abroad, you kind of risk those little mishaps
Hmm.
and those things. Of course, little bumps along the road. It's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
It gets everyone here and there, but that was definitely something to go through.
Man, the beauty of the internet, right? You were able to solve it right away.
Right away. Thankfully, that would have definitely left a bad feeling in our World Cup experience.
Yeah, you guys would have been homeless over there. And so you get so okay, so you Airbnb check, ticket check. You're in Russia already. The day you fly from Paris to Moscow. You're there. You get to Airbnb. You guys are chilling. The day of the game comes, and you guys are ready to party. How did you guys get a day before the match or
Yeah.
the day of the match?
No, a day before. And what's cool about the World Cup is not just in the cities hosting the World Cup, but in major cities all around the world, they'll have a dedicated area for World Cup games where they'll set up a huge screen. I'm talking massive, like 70 feet by 30 feet. They'll have a dedicated space for people of the country, to go watch the game, enjoy a couple drinks, picnic, whatever. It's usually outdoors.
It's kind of like a beer garden
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
thing, but massive.
Massive beer garden for the World Cup games, and I love that, honestly, about the sport, that it can bring so many people together. But there was something like that set up in Moscow.
Okay.
So in the days where the game wasn't happening, the one that we bought the ticket to, we'd go to that festival area and watch World Cup games there. And of course, being in Moscow, there's other people that had the same idea, and you literally have the whole world in a little beer garden,
Right.
basically, with all these screens showing all the World Cup games.
Everyone's getting wild.
Oh yeah, everyone's cheering on their own, country,
Yeah,
and everyone's
drinking,
having a good
partying.
time, meeting from people from all around the world. I met people from Egypt. I met people from Sweden. I met people from Costa Rica. It was surreal. It didn't feel real at all, but it was a good time. I think that's where we spent most of our time, outside of our Airbnb, and of course, leading up to the game. There's tons to see around Moscow, and around the famous sites. You'll see everyone wearing their jersey, walking around, and then if there's enough people to like get together from a country, they'll start chanting their team's songs, and it was a good time overall. All the bars were packed. That's for sure. If there's one thing, beer and soccer bring the world together.
Yeah, I guess that's it. That's the key. Beer and
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that.
Yeah, definitely.
Food, drinks, prize. Food, any good? Anything in particular you love?
I'd say most of my food was within or near the World Cup areas. So it was your typical like chicken tenders, your what else? Fries, they had some meat, like some kebabs, and then soda and beer. Like your basic like stadium snacks, but European.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah. So overall, it not too bad. Nothing like amazing. I don't think I went to Russia looking for, you know, a specialty of food per
Right.
se. I did try some of their vodka. Their vodka's good.
Nice.
You know, gotta give an honest review of that. I cannot remember the brand, not because it was so long ago, but because I literally don't know what vodka I drink. They just served some vodka, and I was like, "All right, when in Russia."
A couple of shots in, and then you definitely could not
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Definitely.
Now that so yeah, so I guess doing a mental note of again the prices, everything. It was probably I guess we're at maybe 2,500 now, something like that.
I'd say, yeah, that sounds about right. So that's, you know, flight ticket being the only off item that's kind of like over your regular, you know, stadium ticket being the $800. The flight, reasonable. The Airbnb, I hope no one traveling has to pay double.
Yeah,
But
no one gets scammed.
yeah, no one gets scammed. It's totally up to your preference where and how richly you want to stay and spend your time in the country. But food and drinks, I'd say about for 4 days, like 400.
Okay, yeah,
It's like 100 a day. Like I don't think Moscow's too cheap compared to other countries, but the stadium food did, you know, maintain its
okay.
price range. So it's
Just stadium prices.
yeah,
Basically.
stadium prices
Yeah.
basically. They're not gonna go cheap on that.
Yeah, exactly. That's where they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Well, you said you don't remember the brand, but maybe you remember the taste. I'm curious as to how the difference, at least that you can remember, between Russian vodka and Polish vodka.
Oh, Polish vodka. I remember Polish vodka being good too.
That trying Polish vodka was probably my first experience in actually trying, I guess, real vodka, or at least vodka from a country that's known for its vodka. I haven't been to Russia, but I've had the fortune to visit Poland, and they're big on vodka too. And I remember when I tried it, and granted, this wasn't even like a fancy vodka or anything, but I remember it tasted so good. It was completely different than anything I've tried here.
Yeah.
Of
yeah,
course,
definitely.
I'm talking about, my experience with vodka are your traditionals, Absolute,
Grey
Vodka,
Goose,
Smirnoff, Grey Goose,
Ciroc.
those ones. But I
Yeah.
remember going over there and it was just, the people's vodka, per se. It wasn't, expensive at all, and it was crazy good, really smooth. Even you could even taste a little bit of flavor of it, like this wasn't a flavored vodka or anything, but you could almost taste some, without, I'm not a vodka aficionado or anything, but like some notes of freaking peach or whatever. I just remember it was really good. It just had like different
Yeah.
vodkas and really smooth that I tried. Was the Russian vodka similar in that sense?
I do recall the Polish vodka being drinking around the city like it was soda, even just because it was so smooth and like,
Right.
the quality was there. It's definitely there. I do remember the Russian vodka being a lot stronger.
Okay.
Because the vodka we're used to having here, it brings back college memories. It's kind of like
Yeah.
really like rough. You hit it
Just a shot
Yeah,
and
it's
go
just a
great,
straight
yeah.
shot, and you're just there. Like you don't mind the taste, the feeling, whatever. It just goes down like all kinds of wrong. But the Polish vodka, the Russian vodka, where they actually take pride in making like their stuff. It's really, you can taste the difference in the quality. Yeah. I can't remember exactly if there was any kind of flavor to them. I'm sure there are.
Right.
There is in some of the brands that they carry throughout Russia, but you can definitely taste the quality. The smoothness was probably what I remember it being like.
Right. And about the flavor, it may have just been me being so drunk that I started tasting some freaking flavors or something.
Yeah.
But I remember it was really smooth too. So I guess you could say the same about Russian vodka, which they're probably more Russia's even more famous, I guess, just because it's even more
Yeah.
of a famous
Yeah.
country than Poland is.
Definitely, definitely. Talking about Poland, I remember that experience pretty well. That was your first trip to Europe, actually.
First and only trip to Europe. I haven't been
Wow.
back. Unlike you, pretty much, live over there half time,
No, my second home.
part time over there. But yeah, that was
Man.
back in almost 10 years. Next year will be the 10-year anniversary of that summer abroad that we experienced
Yeah.
in Poland. It was the
Oh
summer of
man.
2012.
I remember like it was yesterday. Besides the blurred out parts from the vodka.
Which was 99% of that trip.
Yeah. And I remember somewhere in there we tried absinthe.
Oh yeah,
And then it got even blurrier.
It was that whole trip was so let me put it this way. Yeah, it was 90% vodka, 90% vodka and beer, and the other the 10% that's left over. Yeah, it was probably absinthe, something like that.
And then Polish food. Polish food's like 2% or something.
Yeah, something like that. I loved it, by the way.
Yeah. Just a little background. Jonathan and myself went to the Poland trip as a study abroad program that we found when we were attending college. I don't remember it being our first choice. I think there was something about one of our first choice trips to the Panama Canal, I believe.
Yeah, there were two trips or two summer abroad programs that were being offered. One of them was Poland, and then the second one was it was Panama, and they taught different courses. So like the Panama one was both programs were engineering courses, but they were
Right,
different.
right.
They were different ones. So of course, no one really cared. No one really cared about like the course itself. We all wanted to, we saw it as, do I want to go to Panama and party there, or do I want to go to Poland and party there?
That was the real question.
That was what's really going on in our minds.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for whatever reason, we decided to go away from Panama to Poland. No, actually, I think Panama's class got canceled.
You're right.
And then the trip got canceled, and then our only remaining option was, do we go to Poland or not? And then we were walking around the engineering building, and then we see the flyer for Poland because that's where we were going for.
Yeah.
To ask the person in charge, the supervisor, I guess, about the trip. And we see on the flyer that there's gonna be tickets to this Euro tournament game.
Yeah, speaking of, it was the Euro Cup of 2012 going on in
Exactly.
Poland.
In Poland, it was like a dual Poland-Ukraine. They were hosts of the Euro 2012 soccer tournament, and then on the flyer for the Poland study abroad program was in little text at the bottom, tickets to the Euro 2012 match of I forget what teams they were, but the point is that there were tickets involved.
Yeah, that's how it was being advertised. That if you go to this trip, basically, if you cover the expenses, it includes tickets to a Euro Cup match.
Yeah, and when you're looking at Europe, when you're looking to travel to study abroad, your top choices are what Paris, London,
Barcelona,
one of those well-known cities that everyone
Western
goes
Europe,
to.
everyone, yeah.
Exactly, and we're like Poland. Well, you know what? I think we're sold on the tickets.
Yeah. We knew nothing about Poland besides roughly knowing where Poland is, and
that they
obviously
have vodka.
the vodka and their demise in World War II. But besides that, no one really talks about Poland. So
Right,
that was pretty
right.
much all we knew about it. At least that's what I knew about it.
No,
Had
exactly on the same boat. But those tickets to the Euro Cup game, they sold me.
Yeah. So
And
it was, we saw that and we're like, that's it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think that same day we ended up like filling out the forms and then just like figuring out how we were gonna pay, but whatever. We basically said, yeah, we're doing it.
yeah, we even bought flights that same day, I
Yeah.
think. And we started planning the whole trip, and we're like getting all excited and
We skipped all our class. And planning for this trip, we getting all the tickets we could.
yeah, that Airbnb, we had that as a priority over, our like
Yeah,
midterms.
let's do it. Yeah. We're gonna party.
Oh man.
Yeah, that Euro trip, yeah, really, because obviously going to Poland was the reason we ended up in Europe, but because we were already going to Europe, similar to what George was saying, and going to Russia, but that before going to Russia, he stopped at Paris. We started, planning it out. We were like, okay, if we're gonna go to Europe, let's, hit up every city that we can. So we started planning, okay, where are we gonna go? Okay, London. Okay, yeah, we should go to London. Let's do that. Well, Paris, yeah, that sounds sick. Let's do that. And Poland, of course. And then where else can we go? We just started like figuring out Amsterdam. Let's go to Amsterdam. Just trying to think of cities that we could hit up that obviously made sense within the time frame we were working with. Budget, of course, we were in college, so we didn't have a ton of money. That's still true to this day, but but back then it was even worse. So yeah, we just started planning, just writing down places we wanted to go, just Googling things to do, the classic, things to do in London, things to do in Paris. Oh, they look sick. Okay, cool. All right, like, oh, tickets to, this, nightclub, or hey, okay, let's do this. Let's just buy them well in advance. And
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
we ended up, getting tickets to this like techno club in London.
yeah.
I can't remember. Do you remember the name?
I believe Ministry of Sound.
Yeah, Ministry of Sound.
Ministry of
Yeah, that's
Sound.
right. I was gonna say it was something that had to do with sound. But yeah, Ministry of Sound. You're absolutely
That's what
right.
it
That was a sick ass place.
Oh,
That
it
I
was a
remember.
beautiful venue. Yeah.
It was kind of. I don't know the way I partially remember it was
Emphasis on partially.
was this. It looked like an industrial building, almost kind of like brick on the outside. You go in, and it was just a regular crazy nightclub. It
Oh
was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. No, it was nice. Like you were saying, I think it was a warehouse kind of
Yeah,
vibe. It totally hidden. Not your typical like modern spiced up building from
right.
the outside and inside. No, it really it stood out to me. The way that it was kind of low key, but it was definitely a party inside. That was definitely one of the highlights I think from that London portion of the trip. And I remember googling if you're gonna study abroad or you're planning on studying or traveling, for that matter, to any city or country, Google's your best friend. But
For sure.
also, I think what's that tour, bar hopping, there's always going to be bar hopping tours,
Yeah.
and I think that's the best way to meet people and go and see the cities by night, because you can Google and you can find the main attractions. Those are the first links that pop up in a Google search of what to do in London, what to do in Barcelona. Those you're gonna be um fed all these ads and
Hmm.
getting you to go to these museums and getting you to go these well-known places. If you look on YouTube, those are probably the first, the top main tourist attractions, right?
Yeah.
But to really see the city for what it is, you have to go beyond that, go beyond the tourist attractions, and find yourself in a different kind of setting. And for us, I think what really helped us enjoy the city more was that the bar hopping.
Yeah, for sure. The bar hopping, and I also want to say that the fact that we stayed at a hostel, by now
Oh yeah.
that we stayed in plenty of hostels, by now it's it's not like it's not a secret or anything. Everyone knows that going to a hostel you're gonna meet people because everyone's just there. Usually if you stay at a hostel tend to be kind of like more adventurous or whatever, or more open to kind of like just be open with people, meet up people, just
They
grab a drink.
they tend to be young and broke too.
Yeah,
Kind
for
of
sure.
like us.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely those two factors, staying at a hostel and then just doing some bar hopping, which we also did our some fair share of the traditional, I guess, touristy attractions. Visiting some museums here and there, but for sure, going to again bar hopping, hostels. That was definitely a good way to talk to people and know about other things that you didn't know that were going on in the city. That's a good way to do it for sure, especially if you're going either by yourself or like George and I did. It was just the two of us. Just of course, if you're going in a bigger group, if you're already in a bigger group of friends, not to say that you can't meet more people, but if you're already going in a with a group of 10 people or whatever you name it, with your formed group, then maybe you may not enjoy it and just you do your own bar hopping, and just by the fact of being a bigger group, you'll start talking to people and just shooting the shit. But it's definitely a good way if you're by yourself, or a group of two or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But now that we're kind of in the topic of general travel, and this is traveling abroad, not just cities in your own country, um, I wanna ask you, what was the thing you found most difficult about traveling?
I want to say not difficult as in the sense that it was more of a pain in the ass. Definitely flying, and this is again probably is a big pain in the ass for many people. I can't think of anyone that actually enjoys going through the airport process and waiting and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely the pain in the ass. Outside of that, uh, I don't know. I can't really think of. Well, hardest thing would probably be just navigating and navigating myself in the city. I was able to do okay, and most of the time, I don't think there was a point where I was completely by myself, just trying to go places.
Yeah, figure things out.
It was if I wasn't in a group, it was always you and I just figuring things out. And of course, we had at least you had internet, because I remember you were the one that actually had a cell phone with,
Oh, yeah.
or at least
Plan.
at to some level. So I remember we were, even if we got stuck or lost, which we got lost a couple of times, uh, we were able to figure it out. But that was probably the hardest, I guess, just navigating myself. And nowadays it's completely different, because
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about 10 years ago, and even technology has advanced greatly, even if we don't think of it that way, but it has, from 2012 to now. Think about it, just cell phones and just the like anything satellite based, anything internet based has
Definitely,
greatly advanced in the
definitely.
past 10 years.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
10 years ago, it was a different experience than now. I feel like now you just fly there, you just, get yourself a freaking chip or whatever, or what do you call it, like a SIM card
Yeah,
that you put on your, and then boom, you have internet,
you're good to
like,
go.
and you're good to go. And probably this is not necessarily new technology, but it's probably more affordable now than it was 10 years ago.
Oh
So,
yeah, I would agree. And to your point, traveling, that long of a distance all the way to Europe, it's definitely a hassle. On top of the added security, go through the airport and whatnot, and then getting around in a country whose language you're not completely familiar with.
Yeah.
That's definitely challenging. I'd say the most difficult part for me was waiting for the long lines in tourist attractions. You definitely,
that's right.
and this was a learning experience for me. You have to go to certain places at certain times to avoid the large crowds. And the large crowds for me was probably the hassle that I had to go through on certain trips to go see the Mona Lisa. Room full of people. Everyone's trying to see the Mona Lisa. You have this expectation, you have this perfect view of the Mona Lisa, you're up close, you're the only person there. But the reality is that you're in the room, but with like a thousand other people trying to look at the same thing.
Were you able to get pretty close to it?
After like half an hour of pushing it.
Okay. Oh, literally, like once you're so what's the line for then? Just to get
the
a little
to
close
in the room.
Oh, got it.
And then
like the
in the
exhibition room where
yeah.
the Mona Lisa is.
So
and then surrounding the Mona Lisa is just
it's
a group of people.
Huge, tons.
And is it literally like a concert? You just have to push your way in to get to the front if you want to.
If you want a close look at the Mona Lisa, because people, they take their selfies, they take their pictures. That takes like what 5-10 minutes, and then they leave. The people are kind of like circulating through. It just takes a long time to get to the front.
How long did it take you to get to the room?
I think I was there because it's in a museum, and then the Mona Lisa it's in his own room. So throughout the museum, I probably spent 2 hours, but in the room with the Mona Lisa alone, probably like close to an hour.
Okay.
So about half the time I spent at the museum was just trying to get to the front to get a picture of the Mona Lisa. I'd say that was the most difficult part, just avoiding crowds, and probably finding a place to eat and be comfortable in, other than the hotel or hostel or Airbnb, like where you can sit down and finally breathe. It was difficult to find a place to actually like relax, because most of our downtime was either when we found a place to eat, or if we were on the subway or a train or whatever, that was finally like a chance to sit down and then plan, or catch our breath,
just
and
relax,
go to the next thing. But now that Instagram's around, or social media for that matter, you actually see where people are going. You get a better picture of the city that you're going to, so you have a better idea of like how to get around the city and where people are going. Because you'll see, if you type in a search bar, Barcelona, you'll immediately see like the top 10 places people are like taking pictures at, people are going to, and they see it like outside of the tourist attractions.
Yeah, you can see, this is, this burger looks good, or this pie, or whatever. Anything, and you're like,
this restaurant looks really nice, it's good for that Instagram photo, blah blah blah. So it's like, in its own way, its own tourist attraction outside of like the museums and the theme parks. So you can navigate your way a little better that way. But back then, 10 years ago, you're talking the summer of 2012, we didn't have that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Instagram was around, but even Instagram was completely different than what it is now.
Yeah.
The core was the same, but now there's so many more users of Instagram, in 2021 than there was in 2012, and there's more stuff in there, more hashtags, more people. just a mere fact that have more people using it. It just gets wild.
Definitely.
Yeah, that trip was insane for sure. I remember, Paris, London were awesome. Amsterdam was a good time too. That's where we stayed, probably stayed there for like almost 5 days or something.
Oh yeah, that was towards the end of our trip. Yeah,
that's a small city that's awesome, that has a lot to do for sure.
Yeah, they have good I think we had Stroop waffles, and they actually had the Heineken Museum there. I remember that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I know. Yeah, they do. I didn't go, but I know they have it there.
yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely a nice small city. So everyone's around in bikes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
it's really
that's
nice.
awesome.
It's a definitely a change of pace from all the car traffic that we deal with here. But the city is easy to get around. You can walk to literally every corner.
Yeah, exactly. Amsterdam was definitely the easiest to get around
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's so small. Granted, we weren't walking. At least as a tourist, anything that you want to see from a couple of days being there, you can walk everywhere. If you stay in a reasonable area, which everything is going to be pretty close. And Strang's Museum, Red Light District, Van Gogh's Museum, uh, the Rembrandt Museum, all those attractions are you can literally walk everywhere. Which Vondelpark or something like that.
Yes.
That's what it's called. So all these places you can. That's all we did. I remember just walking all the time. Well, the whole trip was doing a lot of walking, but
No,
especially
yeah.
in Amsterdam,
Yeah, yeah,
I think we only took the tram once, and it was because we were, leave on our way in and out because we
yeah.
had
Oh,
our
yeah.
our luggage.
Luggage.
But that was the only time we took, the tram,
Oh, and
and that
even
was
that
it.
was comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But other than that, we're just walking all over the place, which was awesome.
Super nice city. Loved it.
So yeah, I guess that has been, I guess a pretty healthy and conversation about our trips and in general and our experiences, whether it's a World Cup, or trip in general to Europe. So I hope everyone found this our experiences of you can find some useful information. We said, okay, World Cup, we were trying to go, try to, George spent about $2,500 to go to Russia specifically. Every World Cup is, different destination. But if you're trying to go, I'd say just to be safe, if for one person, you want to save anywhere between 3 and 5K just to be safe. That
Yeah.
that would, I mean, that would be my. I World Cup is still in my bucket list, and that's always what I kind of have in mind.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I should probably save anywhere between 3 and 5K just to be safe.
That sounds about right. It's definitely worth every penny, really, because those kinds of things come around every 4 years. So I'd encourage everyone to travel, even if it's not to a World Cup, because you definitely get experience of what the rest of the world is like, and not just in your own country where you think you know everything, but it's you're definitely a different person after you've gone traveling. After you've had 6 shots of vodka in a row,
You're definitely a
you're
different
definitely
person.
a different person.
well, well, with that, that's a wrap. Iwi, stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you. See you guys.
All right, catch
Like
you
and
guys later.
subscribe.